listen to this, man. He got some good news for you. Hey, man, listen. Hey, everybody, gather near. The doctor's in the house, so lend him your ear. The things he can say might even make your day. He might even help your pain go away. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in the house. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Ron, your host of Dr. Ron, unfiltered, uncensored, and definitely unapologetic, bringing you episode number 613, where we're going to talk about the hidden risks of modern medicine. We're going to explore the fine line between care and crisis, the navigating of these complexities of healthcare, the navigating of pharmaceuticals, and your well-being. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for making us number 5 out of 50 on the web and doctors podcasts. So again, with an attitude of gratitude, I'm going to talk about something that doesn't give me a lot of pleasure, but it is fact about what is happening in the medical arena. I'm not condemning all doctors. It's a systemic flaw, over-medication, and lack of holistic health care. But you'll hear the shocking statistics of medical errors. There's a landmark study from Johns Hopkins, and we'll get into that. And we'll talk about properly prescribed medications as the 4th leading cause of death. So welcome to this program on the critical diagnosis. We're going to dissect and dissect these pressing issues in health and medicine. And as I said, we will turn our attention to the U.S. healthcare system. We hear a lot about it. We debate the costs, the innovations, but what does the data actually tell us about its performance, especially when it comes to patient safety and how we stack up against other nations globally? And importantly, what can you do in the face of these challenges? So let's start with some sobering statistics. I think this one you might find shocking. According to several studies, including significant research from the Johns Hopkins University and a report in the prestigious British medical journal, medical errors are a major public health concern in the United States. In fact, these errors are cited as potentially the 3rd leading cause of death. Estimates suggest that over 250,000 Americans die each year as a result of medical errors. These aren't just minor slip-ups. We're talking about diagnostic errors, mistakes with medications, surgical complications, and breakdowns in the system itself. Think about that. Hundreds of thousands of lives lost, not to the diseases they were seeking for treatment, but to the process of receiving care. It's a stark reminder of the complexities and the potential pitfalls within our healthcare setting. And these errors have factors that contribute to them. Burnout and overworked doctors and nurses, poor communication in healthcare teams, fragmented care and lack of continuity, and the electronic health record overload and system complexity, wrong site surgeries. There was a news article a couple of days ago here in Southwest Florida where during a colonoscopy, the surgeon took out a woman's fallopian tubes. I mean, he had to go through the colon. Wow. And of course, the 7-minute physical. Now let's consider another angle. Medications. We trust docs, right, to prescribe drugs that will help us. But what if those properly prescribed medications themselves lead to harm? Research from institutions like Harvard have explored this very issue. It's less talked about, but critical to patient safety. Adverse drug reactions to correctly prescribed and administered medications are a significant cause of hospitalizations and tragically deaths. Some analyses indicate that roughly half of all prescription drug-related fatalities occur even when patients have taken their medications as directed. Remember, I am not talking about illegal drugs or about illegal drug use or prescription abuse in this context, but the inherent risk that can come even when the medications taken under medical guidance. It's estimated that properly prescribed drugs lead to around 1.9 million hospitalizations each year in the United States alone. The combined figures for the United States and Europe suggest hundreds of thousands of deaths annually from properly prescribed prescription drugs. So we have these safety concerns. Well, let's talk a little bit about money. It's no secret the United States spends a lot on healthcare. But how much exactly? Well, the numbers are staggering. In 2023, the U.S. national health expenditure hit $4.9 trillion. That's trillion with a T, ladies and gentlemen. This breaks down to about $14,570 for every person in the country and represents about 17.6% of our entire gross domestic product. We spend more on healthcare per person as a share of our economy than any other developed nation in the world. So what would you expect? Well, you would expect that we'd have the best health outcomes, the best access, and the best of everything. Well, that's not where the story takes us. That's not where this story is going. It takes another concerning turn. When we compare the United States healthcare system to those of other high-income countries and nations like Canada, Germany, Australia, and the UK, a different picture emerges. Respected international comparisons like the Mirror report from the Commonwealth Fund consistently deliver some hard truths. And they are, despite outspending everyone, the United States often ranks last or very near the bottom overall among developed nations. This is across key areas like access to care, meaning that people actually get the care they need when they need it without breaking the bank. We also lag in administrative efficiency. Our system is incredibly complex and costly to run. And most importantly, in health outcomes, things like life expectancy and rates of preventable death. I just saw today on a slide, average lifespan in the United States, 80, in Europe, 84, and a lot of other countries ahead of us that live longer. So we're not buying life expectancy. We're not buying health, since 80 or some percent of our seniors have chronic diseases. So that's really a paradox, isn't it? The wealthiest nation spending the most on healthcare, yet not achieving the top-tier results we see elsewhere. Well, we do well in certain areas like technical aspects of care, some preventative measures. The overall system performance is a serious concern for many of the experts that study this. So to recap, what have I said? We have a system where medical errors are the leading cause of death. Properly prescribed medications can still pose significant risks. We're spending far more than any other developed country, yet we're not getting top quality outcomes or equitable access that such spending should theoretically secure. Overwhelming, isn't it? But it highlights the critical need for patients to be proactive. What do I mean by that? I've talked for over a year on a wellness warrior, how you have to be in control. In light of these systemic issues, it's more important than ever for patients to become their own best advocates, to be true wellness warriors. This doesn't mean you need to be a medical expert, but it does mean engaged, informed, and being assertive in your own healthcare journey. And I've talked about this before. Think about the ancient philosopher Socrates, who famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." We can adapt that to the healthcare. An unexamined treatment plan, an unquestioned diagnosis might not be the safest or most effective path. It's crucial to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions of your doctor. If he doesn't answer them, you have to shop around. So you have to ask, why am I getting this test? Why are you recommending this specific medication? What are the potential side effects? Do I have other options? Do I have other natural options? What happens if we wait and just observe? I had a professor that said a tincture of time. And I know patients tell me they often feel intimidated or rushed during appointments, the 7-minute appointment. But your doctor, if he cares, should welcome your questions. It's a vital part of shared decision-making. If you don't understand something, ask for clarification. If you're unsure about a diagnosis or a significant treatment plan, especially for serious conditions, seeking a second opinion is not only your right, but it is often a very wise step. Studies have shown that second opinions can sometimes lead to changes in diagnosis, changes in treatment plans, potentially uncovering different, less invasive, and more appropriate options. And that brings us to another key point. Always ask if there are alternative and potentially safer tests or drugs. Healthcare is constantly evolving, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes a newer, more targeted test might have fewer risks than an older one. A different medication, perhaps one that has been on the market longer or has a different side effect profile, might be better for you. Inquire about lifestyle changes and non-pharmacological approaches that could complement or even replace certain treatments. That is being a wellness warrior. That's what it means. Get involved. We spend a lot of money on healthcare. The statistics show we're not getting our money's worth. When we're having worse outcomes than countries that spend a lot less. Now, there are some incredible doctors out there. Don't get me wrong. There are some incredible doctors, nurses, and medical professionals, and they work hard every day. And the medical advances that we do have don't happen just out of nowhere. But there are systemic issues where the patient has to be vigilant. We need that crucial layer of safety and well-being, but it comes from the patient. Well, going forward is a heck of a question. And we're going to get into that in more detail. We have to talk about disease management and health restoration. We have to talk about the financial incentives for procedures and prescriptions that they're getting for procedures and prescriptions, not for prevention. You know, pediatricians get paid to give vaccinations. There is an under-emphasis on nutrition, lifestyle, and preventative care and medical training. Another article that came out this morning is that yoga is more effective in knee arthritis than physical therapy. But, doctors are not talking about that. There's not a diagnostic code for yoga. There is one for physical therapy. And a point that no one really talks about is keeping your own medical records and your own medication list. And geez, every time before your doctor or healthcare provider wants to give you another medication, ask them why and what's the effect of them with the ones you are already taking, because polypharmacy is deadly. And we're going to talk more next week about the role of functional and integrative medicine in reducing dependency on drugs. We need more transparency. So I don't know how many of my listeners know what's functional medicine, what's integrative medicine. But for me, it's a safer path to healing than what we have right now, where doctors are employees and a lot of times told what to prescribe and what vaccines to give, which ones are very effective. Like the COVID vaccine has not been proven to be effective. It doesn't prevent you from getting COVID. It doesn't prevent you from transmitting COVID. And yet they still are giving out this medication, even to children. Ask questions. What's in that vaccine I'm taking? Is there mercury? Is there aluminum? Is there toxic metals, other toxic metals? Is there something in there? Is formaldehyde? Well, I could tell you formaldehyde's in a lot of vaccines, but, I guess that would be one way of getting embalmed. Ask what's in the vaccine, the side effect profile of the vaccine. Has it been tested? Has there been a control group of people that have taken this vaccine? Hasn't been done in the past, I can tell you that. So we have to take a new path forward and try and not have doctors and pharmaceuticals as a leading cause of death in this country. And this is a little hard for me to talk about because this is my field. This is what I grew up with. This is what I practiced for 60 years. I had to get this out there because, there are a lot of good doctors. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of bad ones too. And my friends, we don't ask enough questions. We don't have an advocate there all the time. A couple weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I talked about polypharmacy and falls. One medication is given to correct the side effects of another medication instead of just stopping. And everybody that has listened to my program over the years know how I feel about statins. They are heavily prescribed drugs. That's multi-billion-dollar industry. Yet heart disease is still number one cause of death. Tell me that. We never used to have so much muscle aches and pains. We do now. Diabetes is on the rise. Dementia is on the rise. Our body needs cholesterol. So I don't want to get off the track, but you see where our doctors don't have time to think. I'm really sorry to say that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy what you hear, I would appreciate you, wherever you hear it, leave me a little bit of a rating. That would really help. Maybe we can go from 5 to, who knows, toward 1. That would be really great. Tell your friends about this program. And if I broadcast on Podbean, but you can get this podcast almost any place, including BitChute and Rumble. So I do appreciate and are grateful for your support. And with that, I'm going to sign out, and we'll talk more about functional and integrative medicine in our next visit. And I'm going to tell you some things about drugs maybe your doctor doesn't even know. I know the ones that my friends are here that are taking this drug did not even know it until I pointed it out. So have a great week. See you next time. Ciao.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ron's finished for today. I hope you got some good wisdom for what the man had to say. If it's all about good health, he's the man you got to see. He has a lot more answers for you. So tune in next week when the doctor is in the house. Or when the doctor is in the house. And let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you when the doctor is in the house. So if you have a pain, call the doctor. If you have a strain, call the doctor. Let the doctor know what's bothering you when the doctor is in the house.